because from Las Vegas, Allegiant Stadium, home of the NFL's Las Vegas Raiders, I believe it's WrestleMania, but SeaBoss, as we bring you in, you said this in our Discord server, and I'm just going to say it right from how you said it. So excuse me for stealing your thunder here. But to basically sum it up, you looked at Wednesday's episode of AEW Dynamite, and you're like, how is this better than what we're getting at WrestleMania? And dude, I have to agree with you. Like, SeaBoss, you're telling me we get Konosuke Takeshita versus Will Ospreay on free TV. We get Hangman Page versus a wild card. I'm guessing it's Jack Perry.
My guess is right now Eddie Kingston.
That would be awesome. But you're telling me we get the Death Riders, which I've loved that story, against Hook, Samoa Joe, and Shibata. And we get Mercedes Moné against Athena. And then over at WrestleMania, let's see. We get Rey Mysterio against El Grande Americano. No. Go away. Go over there. That
El Grande Americano is just a ripoff of El Generico. Let's be real here.
Wait, and you're telling me at WrestleMania I get LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu? Oh, okay. That's
actually, I'm excited for that match because Jacob Fatu is a beast and LA Knight's good.
Okay, but you're telling me at WrestleMania I get AJ Styles versus Logan Paul? What?
Yeah.
What?
A waste of AJ Styles' talent.
Yeah. Wait, and here's the worst one. Lyra Valkyria and Bailey against Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan for the tag team titles. What? No, give me Tiffany versus Charlotte all day. I'll take that. Give me the street fight. I'll take that. But you're telling me on Dynamite, I get Ospreay versus Takeshita, and at WrestleMania I have LA or AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Nah, give me Ospreay.
Give me Ospreay Takeshita all day.
Yes. I'm sorry, but as of right now, the WrestleMania card looks like a B+ level PLE, and that's being generous.
There are some matches to be hyped about. I am excited for Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. Those two always put on a show together.
And
I am excited for the I am excited for the triple threat Rollins, Punk, Roman.
I'm sorry, but that's the incorrect triple threat to be main eventing night one.
Speaking of that, I am excited for Rhea, Bianca, Io, because none of the three of them have ever had a bad Mania match.
And we know what Rhea and Bianca can do in the ring together. And you're telling me Io's going to be added to this? Hell to the yeah. You know this, though. Once Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton was taken off the card, my excitement overall for the show was taken way down.
Yeah. I hope Kevin is actually able to come back from this.
Yeah.
That 2 to 5 year recovery time, he's already towards the end of his career. This might have been it for him. And it's sad to say. Okay.
SeaBoss, you and I have had debates about who the GOAT is in WWE. But I will say this. The modern day GOAT, just modern day, I'm giving that award to Kevin Owens. I really believe that.
No.
His stuff is... Even talking about before WWE, I have Kevin Owens high on that list from his stuff in Ring of Honor and PWG.
The modern day GOAT is the Tribal Chief, guys. It's not even a conversation. 2010 on, Roman Reigns the GOAT.
Kevin Owens has been awesome.
He has. He's really good. It's like Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. They're very good. They're not Patrick Mahomes.
Wait, SeaBoss, who did you say?
Seth Rollins. I'm putting him in that conversation.
I think it's Roman and Seth, and I think Roman's resume tops Seth.
God, I can't discount Kevin Owens. I can't. His feud with Cody Rhodes was awesome. Everything he's done with Sami.
Anyone, or every feud Kevin Owens has ever had since stepping foot in the WWE has been nothing short of amazing.
Yes.
The feud with Seth at Mania 36. The feud with Sami at Mania 37.
Logan Paul got involved in that.
Yeah, took a stunner, which was awesome. The stuff with Stone Cold Austin at Mania 38. He got his moment with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
And SeaBoss, you're highlighting exactly why, for me, Kevin Owens is the modern day GOAT.
I have to put him there. I wish he won more than just one world title.
Yes.
And that's why he can't be the GOAT. Now, also, Josh, what do you consider modern day? What's the timeline to start that?
I'm guessing 2010 to now.
Yes.
Because if you're doing that, you got to make a case for Cena, too.
Cena, I'd say more 2000s.
If you're talking overall GOAT in WWE, yes, you had to put Cena in the conversation.
Kurt Angle.
Yes, you had to put Kurt Angle in the conversation, but for me, it's Randy Orton.
No one had every single tool in wrestling more than Kurt Angle. He had the accolades. He had the promo skills, the in-ring work, comedy work, character work. He could work with just about every single wrestler on the WWE roster and make a 5-star player out of them.
And TNA, by the way.
And TNA, of course. And if you guys have seen it, his stuff in New Japan briefly was really good as well.
I'll be honest with you, I never knew he worked in New Japan.
Yep, he was a IWGP Heavyweight Champion for a while. Won it off of Brock Lesnar because Brock refused to work in Japan.
All right, guys. Shall we get to start previewing these matches? So some of the stuff you guys said earlier, I agree with. Some of it I don't agree with. We'll get into it as we get into these matches. Let's start with the big one, right? Night 2, main event. Cody Rhodes, the Cody Crybabies, the American Nightmare, defending his year-long title reign against a heel John Cena, who, SeaBoss, I don't think you were with us. I think the last time you were here was right before the Royal Rumble. Josh can attest to this. I predicted right before the Elimination Chamber that John Cena was going to win the Chamber and turn heel. I thought that it was the right direction to go. I'm all for this. I think it's going to be a match filled with shenanigans. I think The Rock's going to come out. I think Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to come out. I think Travis Scott's going to come out. It could turn into a Bloodline rules match down the line somewhere in this main event. I do think that John Cena is going to win his 17th World Championship, but it is not for the reason that you all think. I'll get into that in a little bit later.
All right. So, as far as the Cena heel turn thing is, I was stunned. In that moment, I was caught completely off guard. I was like, did they just turn John Cena heel? What? How? Why? But it has led to some incredible storytelling, and I think they can build off of this. I do think John Cena captures number 17 here and holds it all the way on till the end of the year where he puts over an up-and-coming babyface.
So, the funny thing is, in his first promo, since after turning heel, he said, I am not a heel. I am not a babyface. I am a human being. So that's how I'm going to refer to him. He's not a heel. He is just the human being, John Cena. Cody has really had to carry this feud because Cena hasn't been there for a lot of these shows. And I think that's hurt the story a little bit. But Cody's cut some great promos, so I'll give him his credit. My biggest problem, though, is I feel like they haven't fully captured the momentum and the heat of what happened at Elimination Chamber. That third promo battle they had where they mentioned Vince McMahon. They mentioned Tony Khan. That was great. I thoroughly enjoyed that. But some of their other promo battles left a little bit to be desired for me. When Cody was mentioning Stardust and all of that, it was okay. Didn't quite hit for me. So this feud, it's been a little bit. It hasn't quite met the level I thought it was going to. I'll say it like that. It hasn't been terrible. That's not what I'm saying. It's still been really good, just not quite at that great level. Outside of that promo battle where they mentioned Vince and Tony Khan, but you can't have a moment like they had at Elimination Chamber and not culminate it with Cena winning the title. It feels like you have to go all the way through with it and give Cena the title.
So I actually think in some ways the night 2 main event could be connected to the night 1 main event.
Oh, so, you told me about this theory you have.
So, Josh, I've actually changed my theory on this based on the last couple of weeks. So, SeaBoss, I had 2 different theories on this. The first one I had was I did not think that they were going to announce the favor of Paul Heyman, being in Punk's corner. I thought that was going to be part of the reveal at Mania, was Heyman turns on Roman, joins Punk wins, but then it's also revealed that the favor is CM Punk gets a world title match at WrestleMania. He inserts himself into the main event in night 2, screws over both Cena and Cody, and wins the title. I am now off that theory, Josh, based off the promos that have been made and based off the announcement they made where Heyman is going to join CM Punk in his corner at WrestleMania. I actually think Paul Heyman is going to not only screw Roman Reigns, but he is screwing CM Punk as well. He is aligning himself with the visionary Seth Rollins, who's going to win this match. And then, if you guys remember, in February, when Seth Rollins told Cody Rhodes right before the Elimination Chamber, he said, "Don't make me regret helping you win the Undisputed Championship at WrestleMania 40. Well, who helped John Cena, if you will, indirectly win the Elimination Chamber? Seth Rollins, by curb stomping CM Punk. I think with Paul Heyman's connection to The Rock, obviously, in the bloodline and the whole story, on night 2, when everything looks like Cody Rhodes is about to defeat John Cena, when everybody's been laid out, Seth Rollins comes from behind, curb stomps Cody Rhodes' head into the mat, and helps John Cena. And we get the new corporate power of Seth Rollins, John Cena, the final boss, and Paul Heyman. And that's how the night 1 main event connects to night 2. And we get Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes feuding throughout the spring while John Cena is away with the Undisputed Championship.
So the only reason I disagree with that is because of how Raw went off the air last night. It was Seth Rollins standing tall. Typically, that means he is not going to win. At least that's the usual trope in wrestling. WWE could buck the trend and go with Seth, but I can't see it. If I had to guess, they're going to give it to Punk, and down the line, they'll have Punk and Cena feud probably at SummerSlam, and that's where you do the title change. I don't think Cena's going to hold the title for a full year. I think he goes until SummerSlam, and that's where Punk wins it.
I could agree with you there. I think they're going to start the title feud at Money in the Bank because of the famous Money in the Bank match from 2011, which I believe Money in the Bank this year was confirmed to be in Chicago.
No, it's going to be in the Intuit Dome in LA.
Ah, Okay, I was thinking because 2011 Money in the Bank was in Chicago. Because they could do that Cena Punk thing, but I actually think Roman is gonna win. I
Okay.
think there's gonna be a big. I think Seth and Punk are gonna be too distracted with their hate for each other that Roman is gonna steal away the win and get Paul Heyman back.
See, I feel that way too. It could go down based on the way Roman shoved Paul Heyman, and we all know that Paul Heyman always likes to pull a ruse. So I don't think Heyman walks out of this with Punk. But my feeling on it is, I think one of the SummerSlam, because remember, guys, don't forget, SummerSlam's 2 nights this year.
Yep.
So we need main events for both nights. I think the main events for SummerSlam, one of them will be Roman Reigns and CM Punk one-on-one, and the other will be a rematch from WrestleMania for the undisputed title, where Cody actually gets the belt back from Cena, and it starts Cena's arc of him slowly turning back into a babyface.
Okay.
I could see it. I don't know if it goes that quick. Because I get it, they're trying to turn SummerSlam kind of into that summer WrestleMania show, I guess, if you want to call it that. But it feels too quick of a turnaround to have Cody take the title right back from Cena. I don't know.
All right, shall we move on to Josh, one of your most exciting matchups that you said you think should main event night 1, but it's actually happening on night 2. Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Bianca Belair for the Women's World Championship. So,
yes, this match should be main eventing night 1. I'm sorry. The wrong triple threat is main eventing. I get this history with Paul Heyman and all that, but Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair, if it weren't for Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, because I said that was going to be the match of the weekend, now this is going to be the match of the weekend. They are going to absolutely tear the house down.
I think they'll be good. I don't think this is match of the weekend. I think that it could be 3rd or 4th. I think the 2 main events will top it. But to be honest with you, I disagree on you that this shouldn't main event. I think that Roman, Punk, and Seth, I don't think anybody could follow them. And you're not going to put them on the same night as Cena and Cody. I think that match will go longer than Cena and Cody. I think it's like a 45, 50-minute with entrances. I think it's cinema. Like, I think there's going to be so much storytelling in that match, nothing can follow it.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. As for the women's triple threat, I do believe that this is going to be a barn burner type match. It's going to be very interesting with 2 powerhouses and then a high flyer. You know, we're definitely going to get an over the moonsault. We're definitely going to get everyone hitting their finishers. But who comes out of this the winner? Well, the only one who's undefeated at WrestleMania, I have Bianca Belair winning.
Josh, I'll let you go because I think you know where I'm going with this.
First of all, I thought it was hilarious that Adam Pearce said, Rhea Ripley representing the Judgment Day. Yeah. She hasn't been in the Judgment Day for over a year. What are you doing, Adam Pearce? That was hilarious. I could see any of these 3 women taking home the title. Rhea was awesome as champion. And I love how they've treated Io in this story. That's no disrespect to her, but like Bianca and Rhea are so focused on each other. Io's like, hey, don't forget me. And they just keep pushing her aside. But I'd love to see.
Oh, did Josh just freeze?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, while we wait for Josh, let me go ahead and give my prediction for this match. So I have said that when uh Jade turned on Naomi in Elimination Chamber, I didn't like it because I thought that Bianca Belair should have been the one to attack Jade. The fact that Bianca won the Elimination Chamber and then went away from Jade and Naomi, the whole storyline, I didn't think made any sense. Well, I actually think that Naomi is going to help Bianca Belair win this match. After Naomi loses to Jade Cargill on night one, I think she is going to come out to the ring. Bianca's going to act like, she hates her. They're going to get distracted, all that. Then Naomi is the one that helps Bianca win the title. I think this will be the WrestleMania of heel turns. I think Bianca Belair turns heel, aligns herself with Naomi, reveals that she, along with Naomi, was the one that attacked Jade Cargill because she was jealous of Jade Cargill taking her spotlight. And the Women's World Championship match at SummerSlam will be Bianca against Jade when Jade finally gets her moment.
Okay. I actually had predicted the opposite. I had Jade being the one to help Bianca, strengthening their bond before it's eventually revealed that Bianca was the mastermind behind Jade's attack.
Okay, I got you.
Because I do think Bianca told Naomi to attack Jade.
Yes. Which I think that then has to be revealed. By the way, I was just checking my phone. Josh said he wants internet, so we'll see if he'll be able to rejoin us or not. I'll keep tabs on it. To me, Rhea winning makes no sense, right? Because you're not going to have her lose the belt and then hot shot it back for a month. It sort of felt like this was a way to get Io on the card because she didn't have a lot to do, and I think they went for sort of the surprise title change. I wouldn't have minded Rhea and Bianca one-on-one myself, but I think Bianca's been showing a different side of her. She's been wearing black, which oftentimes has obviously
represent a heel turn.
So, yeah. So, I think that Naomi helps Bianca. I think there is a heel turn. And welcome back to you, Josh.
Yeah, sorry, my internet cut out. So, that was the issue. I'm assuming you're talking about Naomi and Jade, or are you still on the triple threat?
Sort of both, because I said, Josh, I think Naomi actually helps Bianca win the triple threat. And I think that Bianca turns heel. It is revealed that she and Naomi both attack Jade, and the SummerSlam match is Jade and Bianca for the Women's World title.
So, to finish what I was saying, SeaBoss, I agree with you that Bianca wins the title, but not through clean means. I think this is when she turns heel, and she does it with like a chair shot to the back of Rhea, maybe something like that.
But that's legal in the match. So how do you have a heel turn like that?
Triple threat.
Oh yeah.
Chair shots are legal.
That's why I
think that Jade's gonna help her.
Out something.
I'm trying to think of like a heel tactic that you could use in a triple threat.
Naomi helping Bianca win, because that's why these two matches are separate in night one and night two. Because Naomi's going to get beat night one by Jade, and you're going to let Jade go over. And then eventually, like I said, it's revealed that Bianca and Naomi were in cahoots on the Jade attack the whole time.
Yeah, I had it a different way with like Jade helping Bianca win, thinking that, they're still friends and all that. And then after the match, Bianca turns on her.
I like that too.
I do. I could also see Rhea winning the title again. I really could.
I don't. I think if you
the only reason I don't see it is because why would you take the title off of her in the first place?
Yeah, it was literally just to get Io on the card, which then
That's
sorry
a huge
makes
waste
no
of
sense.
Io. To have her lose the title to the person she won it from a month after she won it.
What could happen is here, think about this for a second. Maybe Io retains the title because Bianca and Rhea are too focused on each other.
That could
That
happen.
was my other option, but I was like, it wouldn't make sense to have Bianca lose her streak here.
Unless
Yeah.
she doesn't get pinned. That
Yeah,
is like
yeah.
she lost, but
she wasn't pinned.
Yeah.
That's another smart one.
Yeah, you could have Io pin Rhea again, and then that leads to some type of
here's
match
the
at
thing, Rhea does
SummerSlam.
not lose Queen. When's the last time Rhea Ripley lost a match Queen? Because even when she lost the title, it wasn't Queen. Bianca got involved.
She lost fairly. Oh, I was about to say SummerSlam to Liv Morgan, but then I remembered that Oblivion was on a chair.
And Dom got involved with the interference.
Yep.
Okay, well, speaking of women, let's move to the other women's title match between Tiffany Stratton, the champion, Charlotte Flair. And I think Josh accidentally exited out. We know obviously the promo battle that happened a couple weeks ago went completely off the rails. But with that being said, I was talking to my one buddy, and I thought he made a great point where it's like they're trying to make Tiffany Stratton clearly the face in this match, obviously, but then she's also running away and out of the ring, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm kind of 50-50 on this. It really depends on what direction they want to go. I just think from a perspective of Charlotte's been the champion a lot, I think that WWE, had wanted Charlotte to be more cheered than she was. Not necessarily a face, but more of a tweener when she came back as opposed to a real heel.
Oh, no, I disagree with that. I think WWE wanted her to be the baby face, and the crowd just wasn't having it.
And so, for that reason, I think Tiffy retains here.
I 100% Tiffy should retain. I am not the biggest fan of Charlotte Flair. I never really liked her. I don't like the way that she doesn't put talent over, like Asuka, for example, at Mania 34. That one put me completely off to her, and I just think that I just don't like her. And I like Tiffany Stratton. I think she is a phenomenal wrestler. I didn't like her at first, but then when she started feuding with Becky Lynch over the NXT title a couple years ago, it really made me want to see more of her. And I was like, she's a future champion in this company on the main roster. And she became champion. I think she continues that reign here 100%.
I want to agree with what you guys are saying, but WWE loves to go back to the Queen. And I think they'll turn this into a trilogy, which Tiffany will ultimately win, but Charlotte goes over here, unfortunately.
Okay. What do we think about what I think could be one of the best matches on the card on Sunday? The Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship between Braun Breaker, who I think Carlito might have died if he didn't show up last night on Raw to that spear a couple weeks ago. Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and then obviously Penta. I think this is where officially the Judgment Day breakup begins to happen. And I don't think that, I know Penta lost a couple weeks ago, but it was more of a dirty finish. I don't think you want to see Penta take the Queen lost here. I think Braun Breaker is going on to bigger and better things, so I don't think he takes the pin here. I actually think the Judgment Day breakup is official when Dirty Dominic Mysterio pins his teammate Finn Balor and wins the Intercontinental Championship.
Which will cause Braun Breaker to absolutely blow a gasket. And it will be hilarious. Because I think Dirty Dom will be celebrating with the title. And then, boom, he gets speared right out of his shoes. And it'll be freaking hilarious.
I disagree with that because I think the big moment will be Dom officially turns on Finn.
I have this kind of the opposite.
Okay.
So I think Dirty Dom will be a champion in this company one day. He will. He will have his singles title moment. But I think with all the times that Finn Balor has just taken the pin, he's gotten the nickname Pin Balor. I think he wins. I think Finn Balor wins the title. He pins Dom, and we finally get we get the Judgment Day breakup no matter what. But I will say this: Finn wins, but he loses. He wins the title, but loses the Judgment Day. They kick him out because he pinned Dom. He could have pinned Penta. He could have pinned
I
Braun
like that,
Breaker,
actually.
but he chose to pin Dom, and the Judgment Day didn't like that.
That makes sense. I can totally see that happening. I don't know. I just think Dom. I feel like you know what? You might be right though, because if we're right that Cena is going to win on night 2, and I think a lot of heels are more than likely, and if I'm right about Bianca turning heel, that may be too many heels to win in one night. So maybe they do Finn winning here.
Yeah, and then turn him face. I wouldn't necessarily say have him join up with Damian or Rhea. Let's not run that out.
No, don't do that.
But have him be a babyface. And if he needs backup, well, there's former Bullet Club members in WWE that you can use for backup. There's AJ Styles. There's the Guerrillas of Destiny. I would say the Good Brothers, but they left. Actually, I think the Young Bucks just teased that the Good Brothers are going back to New Japan.
Yeah, the Young Bucks basically said, hey, Good Brothers, we're going to team up with you to take on the War Dogs.
Yep. They didn't frame it that way. They were like, we've got a couple of OG friends.
Yes.
That we're going to use to help with the War Dogs.
Yeah, which, by the way, I loved when the Good Brothers were with the Elite. It was so funny.
Since I'm an OG Bullet Club fan, I've known all about the Good Brothers since they formed, and they're just never put on a bad match over there in Japan.
I also loved them with AJ Styles in the OC, but nonetheless, though, in terms of this fatal 4-way, it's gonna end with Dom pinning Finn or Finn pinning Dom. I don't see Breaker or Penta factoring into the pin. I feel like the outcome they're going to go with is Dom pinning Balor.
What about the Yeet Man here, guys? I think this is going to kick off night 1 of WrestleMania. I think we both kind of said it when it happened, when Jay won the Rumble.
Which I predicted. Thank you very much.
So we had 2 great calls. I called to see the heel turn. Josh called it the Jey Uso winning the Men's Royal Rumble. Going into this, I was like, we just saw this Saturday night's main event. How are they going to make this different? And then Gunther beats the living hell out of Jimmy Uso and wipes his blood on his chest. And Gunther just makes anything work because he's freaking Gunther. I mean, he belonged in the wrong era because this dude is like the most classic vintage heel that you'll ever find. I think without a doubt here, this is the perfect night 1 opener. Jey Uso wins. There's no doubt in my mind. If Jey does not win this match, to me, his character is completely dead.
Jey has to win, but it'll be interesting to see how Jimmy factors into this match, because even though Jimmy basically got killed by Gunther, like you said, I think he is going to factor into this match in some capacity. I'm not sure how, but the way Jimmy has inserted himself into this to give Jey that confidence, there's no way you can have this match and not include Jimmy in it in some capacity. You've got to have Jimmy in it, at least in my opinion. And I don't know, but Jey is going to win thanks somehow, some way to Jimmy Uso.
I agree with Jey winning, but I think it would be bigger to have Jay win clean.
Oh, I'm not saying like Jimmy super kicks Gunther or like does something. I'm just simply saying Jimmy getting involved in some capacity, whether it's him being on the dragging himself down and that inspires Jay, or like he comes out and is like how we see wrestlers on the outside just pounding, the ring apron trying to fire up.
So Jimmy being in Jay's corner.
Yes.
I could see that. I could reasonably see that.
But not right away. Like Jay is down and out and it looks like all hope is lost. That's when Jimmy comes down and like gives him a pep talk on the outside or something to reignite him.
Okay.
See, you know what I think is going to happen in this match is because Gunther is so filled with rage, right? He's so angry at Jey Uso. I can see a scenario where Jay is yeeting, everybody gets excited, and as he gets into the ring, Gunther doesn't even make an entrance. He attacks him from behind. He takes out Jay. Everybody thinks Jay is down. Then that's when Jimmy comes out, tries to get involved with Gunther, and the bell rings. Gunther goes for a quick move. Jay moves out of the way. Couple super kicks. Splash. Game over. Jay wins the title in official capacity in like 2 to 3 minutes. I don't think this is a workhorse 20-minute match like they had at Saturday night's main event, because we just saw that a couple months ago, and we saw these two guys battle in the King of the Ring final in May. Like, I think this is a very fast-paced finisher, bam, bam, splash, Jay wins the title type of match.
You're going with the Sheamus Daniel Bryan from WrestleMania. Was that 28?
Because that was
it was the semifinals. Okay, it was semifinals.
Yeah,
on Raw.
Randy Orton faced Gunther in the
final. No, you're right.
They played that whole thing up of Randy's shoulder was not on the mat when he got pinned.
And that led to their match at Bash in Berlin.
But yeah, I do think not so much Sheamus Daniel Bryan. That
was only like 18 seconds.
But I think it's sort of that direction, right? Because I think that we already saw their match, like I said, a couple times where they've had these 20-minute bangers. Gunther is so filled with rage that I think he's going to try to put away Jay quickly, maybe a powerbomb or two, and it's a quick mistake that opens the door for Jay.
Okay.
Don't you think it's hilarious that, like, they always say the winner of the Royal Rumble will main event WrestleMania, and yet both of these matches are happening on night one, and neither of them are the main event.
Yeah, that's been a thing for a while, because you could go back and you can look at it and you could see, like, well, this guy didn't main event WrestleMania. This guy didn't either.
Yeah.
I think outside of Cody, the last Royal Rumble winner to actually main event Mania was Edge.
Brock.
And that was night 2. Oh yeah, you're right. It was Brock after that Rumble WrestleMania 38.
Edge and Bianca both main evented.
Yeah, that was the last time. It was 2021. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, how about the U.S. title? LA Knight, Jacob Fatu. I think this goes in 2 different directions, and I could see either one happening. One is Jacob Fatu just destroys poor LA Knight. He goes over, does his crazy moves. This match doesn't last too long. Jacob Fatu wins the U.S. title. The other direction they could go is Jacob Fatu is destroying LA Knight. He's beating him down, and Solo Sikoa gets involved, distracts Jacob Fatu enough that LA Knight can get a quick roll-up or even a BFT, and LA Knight defeats Jacob Fatu, and you start, which I thought was going to be potentially a one-on-one WrestleMania match between Fatu and Solo Sikoa. The feud actually kicks off here post-Mania.
I agree with both of those things. I could see it going exactly like you said. Like, I think if we're looking long-term over short-term here, if you want to do it the long-term way, have LA Knight retain and have Solo and Jacob go off and feud with each other.
I don't think you want to take the title off of LA Knight after what was a terrible title reign from Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm not sure you want to just put the title on LA Knight just to take it off of him right away. Kind of like what you were saying about Rhea Ripley earlier. So,
well, I think there's a little difference here with Rhea and LA Knight, because in the one situation, right,
put it
you're
back
trying
onto her, and then the other situation is, well, LA Knight's winning it off Shinsuke to give it to someone else.
Yes, and we're trying to build up Jacob Fatu. Originally, I thought it was a no-doubt slam dunk. When they first announced the match, I'm like, oh, Jacob Fatu is going to kill him. Jacob Fatu is going to win the title. But ever since, they've been doing more of this tease with him and Solo. And I think the fact that, and we'll get into this next, Josh, I disagree with you that Solo is going to be Randy Orton's opponent. I think it's going to be somebody else. And I think that Solo not having a match at WrestleMania seems weird to me if they're not doing something else with him.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Randy's opponent is going to be Nick Aldis.
See, I do. I think that's the match. I think that it's a one-off. I think they hotshot it, and I think it can lead to some fun little feud where Nick doesn't have to get back in the ring after this. But it's like, maybe Orton beats Nick Aldis clean, and then Nick Aldis has a vendetta against Randy, and he puts him in all these matches. Because I think the Randy-Cody feud that we've all been wanting and expecting, it's going to happen at some point, just not now. I think they're both clearly in different storylines at this point. And I think that the Orton-Kevin Owens thing was always the plan, and I think you got to find somebody for Orton. And I think the fact that Orton directly told Aldis he could put his gear back on was a tell. That's who they're going to go with Nick Aldis. Again, I don't think it's anything crazy, but I don't think you hotshot a returning, maybe an Aleister Black or a Rusev or even Solo into a feud when you're trying to find a replacement, because the fact that Kevin Owens just wrestled at Elimination Chamber and they were building this feud up, and then all of a sudden 2 weeks away from Mania, he can't compete. I think it says something about Kevin Owens' injury that they won't even let him get through Mania when he's been working with this for months. And B, let's just find a spot for Orton at this point.
I think they saved Nick Aldis for like a UK show, because they want to give him that hometown feeling. That's what. Plus everything that's been happening with Orton and Solo. Like, for example, during that tag team match, Orton and Solo just went off into the crowd just brawling. And I don't think you do that unless that's the match at WrestleMania, which
it could be, but if that's the case, then Solo becomes Nick Aldis' enforcer. And Nick Aldis turns heel on. Nick Aldis is going to get involved in this, whether he's wrestling or he handpicks Orton's opponent because he can't stand Orton because he RKO'd him.
Which I loved. Orton was like, I gave you the double payment in advance in case it happened. His character work has been great. And SeaBoss, I'm going to give you the fantasy booking I gave you on our other podcast. I know that WWE and AEW seem to be in their own separate worlds, but Randy Orton is going to bring the two together. How? On the SmackDown after WrestleMania, Randy Orton is going to get on the microphone and he's going to say, I know that Backlash is coming up in my hometown, but Kenny Omega, I see that shiny international championship over your shoulder. Triple H, Tony Khan, I'm coming to Dynamite to confront Kenny Omega.
Josh, are you at ayahuasca? There's 0% chance. I will bet you my life savings that doesn't happen.
I don't give a shit. I'm going to, even if it's me fantasy booking, I'm going to fantasy book the absolute shit out of it.
All right,
So,
how do you see this going down?
I had seen a tweet from Sheamus. Sheamus is not on the WrestleMania card as of right now. Randy Orton can do an open challenge, or Nick Aldis can say, hey, I have a hand-picked WrestleMania opponent for you. I want it to be Sheamus. I want Sheamus to be on the Mania card. And Sheamus and Randy Orton, I don't know if they've ever had a match against each other, but I know one
they
thing.
did that whole feud in 2010. Or were you not watching wrestling back then?
I wasn't really.
Okay, because they had a big
WWE.
feud for the WWE title. Sheamus was a massive heel. They had a match at the Rumble, then they had a match inside Hell in a Cell.
That had to have been a good Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, and it was 2010, so it was early PG era. For that era, I thought it was a very good Hell in a Cell match.
And this was before the Red Cell, too. Oh.
Yeah, it was the White Cell. It was at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. And
I might have to go look up this match. This sounds like a banger.
Their match of the Rumble 2010 earlier that year was actually really good. That was when Sheamus was still a heel. And that was when they just turned Orton babyface because they were teasing the split of Legacy at the time.
Oh. Yeah, I think you could just run it back because, I mean, they have a habit of putting Sheamus up against legends. Look at Edge's final match in WWE. That was against Sheamus.
Yep, you're right.
So, just give Sheamus something to do at WrestleMania.
I like it. So this feud has been culminating for a year. It's going to be a Sin City street fight. Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, and Drew hasn't won a feud in a long time. I kept thinking, this does feel like Drew could win. But in my opinion, out of both nights, night 2 is harder to predict the order of the card. I actually thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? I think this match actually kicks off night 2 of Mania. And I think that when Drew ripped the necklace, or whatever you want to call it, off Priest this past Friday, the way he did CM Punk's bracelet, it signaled to me that Drew's just going to have this vendetta against people. And in my opinion, if you're going to have a heel go over last, you got to have a babyface like Jey Uso night 1 go over to start. So I think Priest actually goes over here and they go on their merry way after that. I don't know if this feud continues after a Sin City street fight, but I could be wrong.
This match is going to be so damn good. I've loved this feud, including Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. My top 3 feuds were Owens, Orton, by a mile was number 1. Then what Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Io Sky, and number 3 was this. Because Drew and Damian, there was so much speculation that, no, this is not the feud that's going to happen at WrestleMania. But you could just tell from the way it was going that, yes, this is the match we're going with. And they have smashed this feud right out of the park. I love that it's a street fight. I thought they might go in the direction of like a Hell in a Cell type of match. And I could actually see it going to Hell in a Cell at Backlash. I really could. But I gotta ask, what is it with Drew McIntyre being obsessed with his opponent's jewelry? First it was CM Punk's bracelet. Now it's Damian Priest's bracelet. Like, dude, do you not have enough in your jewelry box or something? Like, if you want to go buy a necklace, if you want to go get a necklace, you don't have to take somebody else's. Just go to the jewelry store and buy yourself one. It's that freaking simple. That aside, though, I loved when Drew McIntyre looked like a freaking pirate. I kind of wish he had kept that eye patch on going into WrestleMania. I think it would have just been very entertaining. But I gotta go with Drew winning here. And the reason I'm saying that is actually I'm changing my pick for night 2 main event. I have Cody winning against Cena because it's going to be Drew who ultimately takes the title off of Cody.
I have Damian winning, and it's just because Drew isn't focused. Drew is obsessed with petty revenge, and it has costed him against CM Punk. It's costed him against the Bloodline. It's cost him all this time, and it has costed him against Damian. And the longer he keeps this petty revenge quest on, the more it's going to keep costing him Damian Priest, crucifix pins, Drew McIntyre.
Well, let me ask a couple questions here. Number one, what weapon is going to be used that represents Las Vegas?
Dice. If you haven't seen last year's AEW Double or Nothing in the FTW rules match between Chris Jericho and Hook,
Which that match was horrible.
or no, it's Katsuyori Shibata.
Yes.
Chris Jericho at one point poured a bunch of dice in the ring.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was a really, really unique spot. I think they could replicate that here.
I could see them using poker chips.
That's what I was going to say. Something like a poker chip or something. I've also gone on a whim here, and I said I think that night 2 is a lot harder to book the order of the card, in my opinion, than night 1. I think that there is a couple options to open night 2, but I was looking at this card, and I'm going, there are a lot of multi-man matches on night 2, way more than night 1. And again, I think if Priest wins, because of all the destruction that's going to be at, and I anticipate the women's tag title match to go in spot 2, because that's, spot 2 is typically the least and most important match on the card, that I think this is a good spot to open night 2. And it's the same spot where Drew opened up last year against Seth, where Priest cashed in Money in the Bank.
Yeah, it would be kind of ironic, or I think that's the right word, for Priest and Drew to open. But since you brought up the women's tag team titles, Liv Morgan was your freaking MVP of 2024 WWE. SeaBoss, I don't care.
Was she, though?
Yes!
Was she, though?
Absolutely.
One of the worst title reigns.
Io had a double worse title reign than Liv. Io did nothing with the women's championship.
Dude.
Absolutely nothing.
SeaBoss, I know you don't like Liv Morgan, but she was the MVP.
Well, I don't think he doesn't not hate Liv Morgan. Am I wrong on that?
Oh, no, I absolutely, I don't say hate. Hate is a strong word, but I think that she is a less talented, not at all charismatic knockoff of Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, you've told me that before. The similarities in looks, obviously, outside of that,
and their wrestling style, they
similar.
wrestle
Maybe
very
it's
similarly.
Same height though, too. They're very similar in size. Liv may be a little taller, but so Josh, I know where we're going with this. It feels like she should be in more of a high profile match, but where are you gonna put her on the card?
Yeah. That part is true, but at the same time, you're putting the women's intercontinental champion in a tag team title match. You couldn't have done, I don't know, Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria versus, who's that other one that should be on WrestleMania? What's her name? She was in Elimination Chamber. She was in the final 2 at Royal Rumble. Oh yeah, Roxanne Perez. What?
See, if you want my take on this, if you're going to be mad about this match, that shouldn't have been the other direction they would have gone, because I thought that would have been worse. To me, if you're going to be mad about this match, be mad about the fact that the SmackDown tag team titles are not on the Mania card.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway.
I'm sorry, but all 3 tag team titles, the Raw tag team titles, the SmackDown tag team titles, and the women's tag team titles have taken a giant collective shit.
No, I disagree on the SmackDown side, because that's been very entertaining over there on the Blue Brand. So one of the things they've gotten right since they went over to 3 hours. And I could make the only argument you can make about the World Tag Titles being on Mania is that it is the New Day, and if you want to cultivate the fact that this heel turn cultivates and them winning the tag team titles, or Big E costing them the titles. That happens at Mania. So that is why I'm actually okay with that being on the card. The women's tag team title match being on the card. The only reason why this is on the card is because you're not going to leave Bayley and Liv Morgan off WrestleMania.
True.
Well, what? Okay, if that's the case, why not have the two of them go one-on-one at WrestleMania?
Because Liv Morgan's
Liv Morgan
a champion.
Liv Morgan has a title. Why not? Why have her not defend it? The women's tag titles haven't been defended at Mania since Mania 38, because of Mania 39 and Mania 40, they were the women's tag team champions were in 6-woman tag matches.
Which, by the way, I really enjoyed that with that 6-woman tag team match at Mania 39. Lita.
The Lita, Becky, Trish versus.
It was okay. It had a weird build to it with Trish obviously turning there afterward. I think the only match, guys, we have not gotten to, I could be wrong, but I think it is, let me double check here, is Logan Paul and AJ Styles. And Rey Mysterio and El Dragon Americano as well. I disagree with you guys on AJ Styles and Logan Paul. I think on night 2, I'm not saying it's going to be the best match, but I think they have a chance to steal the show.
No.
I know their story has not been great. Their segment on Raw last night I thought was fantastic. But when has Logan Paul and AJ Styles both ever had a bad match?
With Logan, I'd say his match against Cody at King and Queen of the Ring, I thought that match was just terrible. And it shouldn't have happened.
No, that match should not have happened. I thoroughly enjoyed his match with Seth Rollins. I thought that feud was fantastic. And they've completely dropped the ball.
Also, the Crown Jewel match with Rey Mysterio when he won the U.S. title, that was a horrible match.
Yeah, that match was terrible. AJ Styles.
I disagree with you guys. I don't think Logan's had a bad match since he's been in WWE.
AJ Styles is the definition of good match. Man does not know a bad match whether it be TNA, New Japan, Ring of Honor, or WWE, that man is a banger factory.
Okay.
Ironically, I think his worst
I will
match.
disagree with you a little bit. I thought his first match with Samoa Joe at Mania, or at Hell in a Cell, I'm sorry. I personally didn't really enjoy that match.
See, I think his 2 worst matches in WWE have both been at Mania. I think his first one, 32 against Jericho, I think is completely forgettable. Because I think that Mania, outside of one match, is completely
that
forgettable.
was a bad Mania from what I've been told.
See, I actually enjoyed that match between Jericho and Styles.
The other one, and it's ironic because he's my favorite, but I thought him and Edge at Mania 38 had a terrible match.
Oh, that I agree with.
I didn't think it was terrible, just forgettable.
I thought it was pretty terrible and forgettable, but like I said, his first match with Samoa Joe at Hell in a Cell, I did not enjoy that match.
I'm surprised you guys didn't bring up this stuff with James Ellsworth, because you'd think that'd be pretty bad.
See, I enjoyed it personally, but I'm more sports entertainment than professional wrestling fan.
The one I saw with Dean Ambrose being the special guest referee, I thought that was pretty entertaining.
See, I'm more of an entertainment factor, which why I don't even mind the Rey Mysterio, El Dragon Americano stuff. Like, I'm telling you, those guys are going to put on a banger. I would love it if it's revealed that Chad Gable is not El Dragon Americano.
See, I believe that they're going to do that fake out. It's going to be Julius Creed. That's who I have been predicting since this match was announced. Julius Creed's going to be the one revealed as El Grande Americano.
But if he was in the ring last night when El Dragon Americano came out, how could that be?
They're going to swap.
I guess you could, because in wrestling, you throw all logic out the window. Yeah, I mean, it would. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they get some random backstage crew guy.
Is this a mask versus mask match?
No, it's just
a match.
No.
Which I think they are going to reveal it's going to be somebody. It's not going to be Chad Gable, but I think the reveal has to happen here at Mania, which I think Ray's gonna win.
Yeah. What I think they do is that the El Grande Americano who wrestles in the match is going to be Chad Gable, but there's going to be a spot where I guess they swap the mask onto someone else, and that's who it's going to, and then they're going to reveal it to, oh, it's not Chad Gable. And then Chad Gable, the real El Grande Americano, comes up from behind and rolls Rey Mysterio up to win the match.
Yeah, I guess.
It's going to be a silly comedy match, and I'm fine with that. I love a good comedy match. Danhausen is one of my favorite performers, and he is the king of comedy matches.
You don't strike me as a guy that I know Josh for sure is not.
No, I love a good comedy match. I mean, I'm a complete work rate guy. I love the independent scene. I love technical wrestling. I've gone on record saying that Zack Sabre Jr. is the best technical wrestler in the world, and I stand by that. But when it comes to comedy wrestling, I love that stuff. I love Orange Cassidy. I love Danhausen.
Orange Cassidy is awesome.
I think you need a good balance. I think you need a high work rate. I think you need a tag team good match. I think you need a comedy segment.
To have a complete show, you have to be able to mix every aspect of wrestling.
I completely agree with that.
I think AEW forgot about the comedy aspect of
it. No, Orange Cassidy still exists.
He's not around right now. I think he's injured, but...
Well, I mean, there's still comedy with Harley Cameron and Toni Storm.
Yeah.
She has a puppet of Mercedes Moné, and it is the most entertaining thing you will ever see.
Yes.
All right, guys. I think that's it. I think we've covered it all. Obviously, there's a lot of wrestling going on this week, not only in WWE.
Wait, we never covered Jade Naomi in full.
Okay. Well, I said Jade's gonna win.
I do think Jade goes over, but I have a little bit more to say about that. And I think Naomi is gonna spend the whole match trying to run away from Jade because Jade's all this power and whatnot. And it's gonna cost her big time.
See, you guys have Jade winning, but I think WWE is good. This is just the first step for Naomi as a heel. I think she's going to eventually take this to the Women's World Championship. I got Naomi winning here, and she continues this heel character until she is crowned champion.
That's a take.
Yes.
I'm not saying it's wrong, but that's a good take. I don't know. The SmackDown Women's Division is weird, which I really don't care who wins Tiffy versus Charlotte because the depth of that division is not there, as opposed to the Raw side.
I agree.
So, all right, guys.